Hello and welcome back to Amnesia, a machine for pigs. My name is Kat and I will be your guide on this not very terrifying journey. I found out how to do the thing. It was quite obvious and I missed it. It's a little lever machine thing that you have to pull in that one room, but yeah, it already told me how to do this puzzle. Can I set this down? You may remember remember that, but it kind of told me that this was acidic and whatnot in that one thing, and to point this yeah. I'm coming, you little brats. Aha. The leaking world, and the rhododendrons seem to be taking over the garden by the wall. I could dig them for you? No, get out of this house. You leave them be. Okay. How is everybody? I had to count 1,000 shirt pins and buttons today at work. It was quite fun, especially when I miscounted and had to do it all over again. Which was like every 2 minutes because people wouldn't stop saying their numbers out loud. Oh dear. Look what you've done. You've fallen down in a gross pile of heck. Ew. Naturally, once bled, the product must be scalded, dehaired, and scraped, ready for gambroiling and whatever, and evisceration. For this, we pass them through the steam reservoir, which is kept at a constant temperature by passing excess high-pressure venting from the engines via the boiler and series of large copper pipes into a stone chamber just below the workhouse. At the center of the machine, there is a component that must be kept at a consistently low temperature, which controls operations of the processing of product throughout the system. Alongside this, refrigeration is of the utmost importance in retaining product quality, and this also requires heat to be removed from certain areas of the machine. Two problems are therefore combined into a single solution: the removal of heat from some areas, and the requirements for increased heat in others. What? Conducting panels draw heat using the principles of convection regulated by the boiler and sending freezing air along one set of pipes in one direction and superheated vapors in another. That was informative.
Isn't it dangerous allowing this filthy discharge to collect so close to the core?
We can use the flow to drive the turbines. There will always be a torrent of excreta flooding through these tunnels. We can use this to supplement the steam production and ensure constancy.
God, the stench! This fecal matter is the true product of the age.
Oh dear. I heard a groan. It's some form of bizarre mixing device for chemical the spinny what's it. And it positively reeks of the foul fluids I've seen too often before. It's clearly a compound, some volatile bastard of two composite ingredients. I should wager I would find them close by. I have the compound. It hisses and steams in its container like some living thing, a witch's jelly to burn and corrode. The container is made from glass, a strange choice unless there is some particular reason why the metal that pervades everywhere else cannot be brought into contact with the so-called compound X. I should investigate further for clues. My mysterious friend is correct. The sewers are indeed flooded. To descend further, I will have I will have to find the local sluice pumps to drop the water levels. The smell is almost unbearable. It makes me gag. Why should the saboteur have flooded the tunnels though? What did he hope to achieve? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Why don't you ask him? No. 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 Not going through that again. You. This is gross. That's disgusting. Gah. That noise is nice. What the? Oh, hi! You're running away again, I see. You know, it's not very scary when the enemy is constantly running away from me, but that could just be my opinion. Oh, another piggy mask. That for some reason nobody ever wears. Dun! That was an audio glitch. Oh. Yeah, but who's we? I don't like this we. Several of the older forms have breached their containment area and escaped into the sewers. They reminded me of my limitations. This is no Kelm, and I am no Ilial. At least not quite yet. It is the heat generated from keeping the doorway between open that is to blame. We cannot simply pack them about with coolant as we do at the center where the doorway is. The later versions are kept safe by the freezing temperatures of those towers. Up here, where the air is hot and fetid, they become overheated and their duality tears them asunder, as the other place flies from their cells and their vitae splinters. They live sporadically, torn from one world to the other and back again in violent, unpredictable bursts. For a few seconds they are creatures of this world, then they are turned away and cease to have physical form. What? This vicious rippling back and forth between worlds has driven them quite insane. I have ordered the affected area sealed and will not allow my loyal workers to enter. These are damned places now, the abode of failed experiments, ghosts of fear and spite. Is it that thing in the water that I have to now probably dodge? Because if that's the case, what do I have to go back this way? If that's the case, dear Lord, I'm gonna die. Ah, look at this. Doot. What? You? What are these footsteps I hear? Stop this madness. No. No. Yeah, I hear you. Get out of here. I'm not having any of your sass today. Becky. Oh. Hey.
But we can save them. We can set them free. We can replace a rotten old world with a clean new one.
Mr. Flanders, you sound every bit the fanatic.
Well, how can I be otherwise, Professor? How can any man of ethics simply stand by and watch this world drown in its own excrement?
And your engineer, this visionary with whom you embarked upon this course, does he share your views?
Indeed he does. Indeed he does. The poor fellow has seen it all before. Now, this is not the first great civilization he has wept for.
And so you set about things immediately upon your return?
Naturally. These things cannot be left to rot upon the tree, and sponsors were remarkably easy to find. I tell you, Professor, a trail of greed brings rich men to your door like pigs to truffles.
That was interesting. Not sure. Yep, running away again, I see. As usual. Ah, there you are. I saw you. And I said, look, my darlings, can you see it? And they said, yes, Daddy, yes, we see it. A tall, weathered cap of a steep-sided pyramid, so like those of Egypt. Stone falling away from the summit, vines crawling about, intertwining the stucco serpents that thrive about the steps. A palpable sense of stillness, a weight of forgotten. And this is where the king sat. And this is where the priests lived. This is the house of the dead. And here, where the sun strikes, this is where they threw the hearts that were not consumed. No, my darlings, they most certainly were not savages, you see. They believed that the sky could fall on their heads, and they truly believed that offering blood was the only way of stopping this from happening. Perhaps, my darlings, perhaps they were mistaken altogether, or perhaps their tragedy was they could simply not spill blood enough to prevent the sky from falling in upon them. Lovely. The exact sort of conversations I would have with my kids, if I had any. That's done it. Now I can enter the strange decontamination chamber once again and move onwards. The waters are pushed back, making the way to the bilge clear, where I can divert the remainder of this filthy torrent back into the Thames where it belongs and clear the path to the center of the machine. You have fun with your words, don't you? I have fun with words as well, but this is a bit silly. You have had enough of you again.
That's it, Papa. You're so near now.
Am I? For some reason, I don't really believe you. I can't fathom what this would be. Yes, let's get through this. If I'm just going back into the sewer again, why was there that odd little decontamination whatsy? Okay. Dear God, a whole nest of these foul creatures. No mind, my instincts have drawn me thus far, and I am sure somewhere in this dank complex is a means of further descent. I will not see their faces as they go about their dark business, and yet I watch them sleep and eat and play, and they are so very human, so very childlike. And I will not think of what I have seen, of the chairs and the cages, and I will not think of how such monsters may be sculpted. It's probably just a little bit of stitching. That is a really cool door. I want one. Well, I can't even screw about with these doors. Oh. Oh, hey. Again, you're not making these very scary. That was a tad bit more adorable than anything. And it looks like he's wearing a little hat. These just more holding pens. Yeah, look at that. He's sleeping on a... Remember, we're together, sleep, learn, fraternizing will not be tolerated. So they can write as well, maybe. I don't know. If that is them doing it. Alright, I'm gonna go... Again. They're not scary. You need to try a bit harder. Please. The first game did their monsters quite well. I didn't know anything about them. Didn't watch them because I didn't want to die. Thus... Oh. That's the thing. I'll assume this is where I have to go. But, I'm sorry, it's not very... Like, it's a little bit more interesting than it is scary. Like, I just want to know how this came about. Where am I going? Oh. It seems as if this is the last way down. Which is... This is a lot of walking. And climbing and... Oh, hello. From tide to spine, he placed his head on the vice and spun the wheel until the skull cracked and the thoughts leaked onto his shoes. It relieved the pressure for a while, but it soon returned. What? Alright then. Whatever you say. Not going to act as if that made any sense to me. I mean, you can live if your skull cracks. My grandpa once ended up busting open his head, like properly busting open his head on a tractor, and he had to hold it when he went to the doctor.
You seem to have undergone quite a profound conversion in Mexico, Mr. Mann.
You could not have seen it yourself and not, Professor. As we disembarked, even through my fever, I saw the detritus of this so-called progress. I saw starvation and disease, rot and destruction polluting the waters of the Empire. We are ruiners, you and I, and all of us, and we make the world unclean.
And you took it upon yourself to act as Redeemer.
Professor, I would not be so presumptuous. I am merely a conduit. I am constructing an architecture to wrestle our damnation to the ground and smother it with steam.
Bilge pump maintenance access. Yes, this is where I want to be. I think. Possibly. I would assume so.
He's here, he's here!
Am I? Or is this just a dream? Why are you flickering? I don't see any...
I said you'd come.
A child, come back. Wait, do... These must be the bilge pumps. I am at the heart of the saboteur's efforts. He ordered... In order to keep his flood in place, he must have disabled these vast pumps, but he was clearly rushed. Thus far, he has left most of his work incomplete. His clumsy efforts reduced to simply switching off all that he could find. If I can locate the controls, the remedy will be simple. Will you stop telling me exactly what I need to do before I can figure it out for myself, please?
Ahead, the trick will distort.
That's not a hint, that's a blatant...
Downward, ever.
Sorry.
Towards a wind that held the voices of my children, beckoning me to set them free.
What are you talking about? Whoa! Am I about to die? Everything's red. I don't want to move. I don't want to move. Why? And there's like I don't even think there's any laudanum in this game, because I haven't seen any. There's no inventory. Oh, I just healed over time apparently anyway. See, that's it. What was that noise? That's another thing. If I don't have to worry about healing, what am I... Can I die in this game? Stop. Ensure all wheels are in place for correct operation of pumps. Like... It seems a bit... It seems a bit strange for it to be like this. Like, no health, or at least no health to be worried about. Enemies running away constantly, and you never really having to come to face. Oh, balls. No, 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 no. I'm not having it. Wow. Those were really slow. And nothing really to worry about. Anywho, I hope you're enjoying this journey so far, or at least a little bit more than I am. If you are, then please check out the other videos of this in the playlist. Or go check out some of my other videos on my channel and whatnot, because I try my best to be somewhat entertaining and whatnot. So, until next time, goodbye.